going to be our last question to this panel, and it's going to start with Sean Kasper. What can you suggest to help small businesses? Mike, what can you suggest to help small businesses in Florida?
To help small businesses, we need to make sure that the state government is going to take care of its responsibilities, balance its budget, keep taxes low, have a good bidding process for the government contracts. We have $40 billion in government contracts in the state of Florida. We need to focus on the local government now as a small business, you know, like a laser on what's going on in the local budget and everything, and just basically keep people free from stress or you know, fear of what the state's going to do. You know, keep the state very conservative, let the local governments be more energized and activated to do what they need to do.
I run a small business, and I can tell you that a lot needs to be done to help small businesses. This economy that we've had suffered the last couple of years has decimated many, many small businesses throughout the state. If you travel up and down the state, you'll see businesses closing their doors every single day. And there's a lot of talk you hear up here at the panel about getting revenue to pay for different programs. Well, we don't have a state income tax in the state of Florida. Much of the revenue that comes into the state budget comes from small businesses and companies because they're the ones paying for all the permits, all the fees, all the taxes that go to fund the government. So if we don't have small businesses being successful, being able to hire people, fix the unemployment situation, then they're not going to be able to pay all those fees and all those taxes that everyone wants everybody to pay to fund all these wonderful programs that we're talking about funding. So we really need to look at tax relief and make the small business navigation to make small business more successful. The burdens of permitting and all that, we need to bring all that down, bring taxes down, help our small business owners so they can hire people on and bring people back and try to restore our economy and rebuild Florida.
I just need to respond to that response. Florida has the 6th lowest corporate tax rate in the United States and a 0 personal income tax rate. That should translate into a low unemployment rate. Our unemployment rate is 38th in the country. Let's take a look at a state like Nevada, which has a 0 corporate tax rate, 0 personal income tax rate, is similar to Florida, which had a housing bubble that burst, and is a resort destination, and has the highest unemployment rate in the country. Low corporate taxes do not work. What does work is funding public education and creating a better quality of life here in Florida. We don't do that here because the legislature and the governor does not want to fund it. We could attract business here if we had a better quality of life and a better educational system, a public educational system, a higher educational system, instead of 50th in the country.
For 16 years, we've evolved the state, and we've basically dismantled everything that made the state great. For 16 years, Republican control in both the Senate and the House and the governor's mansion, if they still want to say that Charlie Crist was theirs. And we are still having major issues in the state. It hasn't worked. There are a number of things to do, obviously streamlining, but to relieve the burden on small business, perhaps the biggest thing the state of Florida could do is implement affordable care. That's a key provision to making the state better. Now, let me share with you one issue I heard 2 days ago at the Medical Society medical dinner by Donna Shalala. She's the former Health and Human Services Secretary. There are states right now who have partnered up with the federal government. They are now promoting the fact that they've implemented affordable care and exchanges to attract businesses to their states. I leave you with that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. What can you suggest to help small businesses in Florida?
Small businesses need employees committed to work. They need a state committed to an education system to produce those employees who are committed to work. Small businessmen need to know that there's insurance available that's affordable and that is in fact going to be there when their claims come and when they need to have their claims paid. They need a lot less political rhetoric and a lot more action. The small business people of Florida really will grow our economy if we can just get government to in fact lead the way instead of create the kind of political chaos that has been the norm for some time. I do want to say, by the way, that there's going to be Republicans in charge next year. The question is, can we get them anywhere near the center instead of them trending to the right? Thank you.
When you go last, you hear pretty much everything, and I totally agree. I think one of our biggest problems is our educational system. If we don't have an adequately funded workforce, businesses can't thrive here in our state. So we need to make sure that we have the students who are graduating to be part of our workforce. I also think we've lowered the corporate tax twice in this state, and we've seen that it's not going to make a difference in our small businesses. But one thing we did do this year, and I was very proud, we did implement a one-stop business portal. So from now, we will eliminate some of the regulatory burden on our small businesses. But I think our main thing that we need to do is make sure that we do have the educated workforce. I'd also like to tell you that I think we should start incentivizing businesses. I filed legislation that would give businesses an incentive for hiring people on unemployment compensation. And I think that's something that we can do to get people back to work. Thank you.
And we're going to conclude with final statements. Everybody has answered that question, right? Okay. And we're actually going to start at the far end of the table with Sean Kasper.
Okay, everybody, this is it. It's been a great time. It's been a pleasure sharing these things with you and talking about the very important issues concerning, the state of Florida. But one thing I want to remind you of is that the state legislature in Florida is really bad, and we do need some really good people up there to do some difficult things. And you send this guy up there, I'm going to do what girls like to do. I'll kick somebody up there, right in the, you get the message. And we need to get things moving, but we have, these amateur prima donna politicians up there who think that they're going to, play some games and mess with our emotions and divide the people. What we need to do is unite, and we need to send this Republican up there, because I can work with those Republicans up there and they'll listen. Thank you.
I want to thank all of you for being here today and all the different groups that are part of this forum. I am a member of many of these groups, and I'm proud to be a member, and I'm happy that you sponsored this forum and gave us the opportunity to hear from us. I think the #1 issue in our state continues to be jobs. Like I said, I did sponsor a bill to incentivize getting people back to work. I think the number 2 and 3 issues are education and healthcare, and those are all major goals that I will continue to work for. I've worked hard here locally. I had a job fair. We had 30 employers come and over 800 people. I have citizens committees, if any of you are interested in being on any of them. We've done energy, immigration, a small business forum. And it's been my honor and privilege to represent many of you, and I hope I have that honor and privilege for the next 2 years. Thank you.
Now, my opponent's not here. Did I say that before? My opponent's not here, so he really can't speak for himself. And I won't suggest that he is unfit for office. What I would like you to do, however, is I want you to pick up the brochure when you go out. Now, the reason is it's got a pretty picture of me on it, and then it's got a picture of my family on it. So I just want to take the remaining time I have. My daughter Rachel, on the far side next to me, is a graduate student in art history at American University. She just finished 5 years in public relations in Tallahassee. She worked for a firm run by Corey Tilley, who's the press secretary for Jeb Bush. Like me, she's an incurable bipartisan. Remember, that's how we'll make progress. My wife is a tree farmer. She knows all the Latin names of all the tropical foliage. Please call her anytime. They're sort of in the bottom of the photograph. She's a student in hydrology in graduate school at FIU. She's under a scholarship provided by FIU. It's time to stop. And finally, Andrew, WFSU, public radio. He's an intern. Florida State University. He reports on the environment every year. I've been gone 22 years, but the kids are out of the house now.
Thank you.
There was a method to his madness. Start the clock. My name again is Mark Pafford. I've been in the legislature for 4 years. I'm running for a 3rd term. Some new areas. Every day has been an honor to be able to try to understand as many things as I can and speak the truth to power in Tallahassee. I would agree, we have a lot of bad legislators run by bad philosophy in Tallahassee, and I'm one of those folks that have been fighting for 4 years. I want to meet that challenge by going back for another 2 years and fight the Rick Scotts of the world and fight the agendas that are against most people in this room. That's the only thing that's important. When I go home at the end of the day, I feel I've done a good job. In 10 years, I look back, I feel that I said what I needed to say, and I didn't waste my time, because that would be wasting your time. Again, it's Mark Pafford, House District 86. Thank you very much.
My opponent is not here also. My opponent served for 2 years only, and my opponent has one issue. That's the only reason he went to Tallahassee, for one issue. I'm asking for 2 votes from you. Now, I don't want you to cheat. The Republicans have already done that. They got caught this past week. But I need 2 votes from you. I need you to vote for me if you can. And I'm asking you to vote against the proposition for slot machines in Palm Beach County, because that's my opponent's proposition. So he wants your vote to go to the House again, and that's why he went to Tallahassee, because he wants slot machines. He's part of that. Slot machines will not help Palm Beach County. It is a blight on our society. Now, him just going to Tallahassee, he hasn't done much damage except vote against women, vote to suppress the vote, and he has voted to privatize prisons and compromise public safety. But his agenda has been to enrich himself by trying to get slot machines here in Palm Beach County. So please, vote against that amendment. Thank you.
Well, first I want to thank everyone for coming out, and I want to thank this great organization for letting us put this on this event. You guys get to hear my message and hear my opinion on all the different issues that are going on right now. My opponent also conveniently is not here, but I'm not here to bash my opponent or tell you anything bad about him. If you guys want to look him up, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm also not here to tell you who to vote for, who not to vote for, of any of the people up here on this stage. But I do want to say we have heard a lot of things so far this evening or this afternoon. A lot of promises, a lot of programs, a lot of funding. Everything's underfunded. We need more funding for everything, and we need more programs for everybody. And we have been told that you guys all pay your fees on your whenever you get a driver's license or anything like that to pay for these things. But I just want to remind everyone that those are also taxes. So anytime we want to fund programs, we have to pay for them. I think we have a lot of money right now. We have a $70 billion budget so far this year. I think we need to find effective ways to get that money spent, not just raise fees and taxes on everybody for new programs. So I think we need effective government first before we think about raising people's taxes. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much to all of these wonderful candidates. We can give them all a round of applause.